Welcome. Today we're going to be working on grounding, rooting to rise before moving towards Garundasana, eagle pose. You might want a block, a strap, or any other props nearby as we move through this flow. Today we have Emma demonstrating chair options and Sue with a mat-based practice. Come on down to a seated position, sitting upright on the chair or propping yourself up on a block. Begin closing down the eyes and turning inwards, arriving in your space. Hands can rest onto the lap or take chin mudra. Find the connection with the breath. Find your focus. Focus on the breath. Smoothly noticing those inhales and those exhales out the nose. Allow the body to arrive and to soften. Really drawing those shoulders away from the ears as we maintain the lift through the top of the head, finding all the space available through the spine and through the torso. Keeping that breath smooth and steady, keeping the focus turned inward. With yoga, all the poses embody different qualities, often reflecting the name that they are given. Garundasana is derived from two Sanskrit words, Garuda meaning eagle and asana meaning pose. As we're looking at this pose today and you're checking in with your breath as we begin, perhaps begin to conjure and cultivate some qualities of what the power of the eagle means to you. Garudasana cultivates the true powers of eagle and is known for vision, wisdom, strong determination, intuition and courage. It's a very beneficial pose, restoring mental clarity and focus. The poses today help work with the root chakra through a powerful connection to the earth element. This is also the first chakra, also called Muladhara chakra, and associated with feelings of feeling safety, security, and grounding. Garudasana also opens up and balances the third eye chakra, which is the sixth chakra and located between the eyebrows. Perhaps you could turn your gaze in towards the space between your eyebrows now. This chakra is associated with elements like vision, perception, and foresight. These are two important chakras to look out for, to work towards feeling more grounded, finding a sense of direction, and finding that inner wisdom and strong determination, the intuition within. Embodying the essence of the eagle. Either stay here or come to take Nadi Shodhana, also known as alternate nostril breathing. This is a pranayama practice to help bring balance and grounding. We'll begin by taking the middle finger and the first finger of your most dominant hand to your third eye center, in the space between your eyebrows. And we use the ring finger and the thumb to close off the nostrils. Taking alternate nostril breathing, I will guide you through. So begin taking your two fingers to your forehead. We'll begin on the left side. So take a nice smooth inhale through both nostrils. And slowly exhale fully through both nostrils. Closing off the right with the thumb, we'll inhale through the left, inhaling to the top. Close off the left. Exhale through the right. Inhaling through the right. Close off. Exhale through the left. Round 2, inhale through the left. Close off. Exhale through the right. Inhale through the right. Close off. Exhale through the left. Either continuing for one more round at your own pace, or coming to take a normal rhythm of breath. Taking the hands to the lap and just holding that stillness within. On your next inhale, draw those arms up towards the ceiling, palms facing each other. And let's change the cross in our legs, just promoting a bit of balance if you're sat cross-legged. If you're on a chair, perhaps wiggling side to side. Just resetting the pelvis. As you exhale here, find your cactus arms, drawing those elbows and shoulder blades together, finding that opening through the chest. Inhale, reaching those arms back up to top. And exhale, cactus arms. Letting those arms come down towards the floor, towards the sit bones, just taking some rolls through the shoulders. Taking it in the opposite direction as well. And then taking the right elbow, take the hand towards the shoulder, and we're going to draw circles with our elbow. So drawing circles with the elbow, these can be big circles, little circles, it does not matter. Opening up through the chest space and going the opposite direction as well. And then on your next exhale, keeping your hand onto your shoulder, so we've still got our little wing going on, I'm going to take the elbow towards the opposite knee, taking a little crunching forward as we exhale and inhale, opening up through the chest. Coming back to top, and then taking that right hand across the body over towards the left knee, coming into our seated twist. The left hand can anchor down behind you. The gaze can turn over that left shoulder. We're twisting from the mid-spine, using our core to turn. The shoulders follow, and then the gaze. Only go as far as feels comfortable. And exhale, release, coming back to center. As we inhale, draw those arms up. Exhaling, bringing the hands to heart center. Over to the opposite side, this time right hand drops down to the sit bones. The left elbow is drawing those circles, like our little wing, big circles, little circles. Keeping that chest nice and open. And taking it in the opposite direction as well. Moving in every direction that we can, finding our full range of movement here. And then on your inhale, drawing that elbow up, opening up through the chest. And as we exhale, taking the elbow across the body over towards the opposite knee. Inhale, finding the length and the chest opening. As we exhale, finding the twist and the forward fold motion. Moving through the body. Let that left hand go down towards the right knee. Coming into our seated twist. Right hand can anchor behind us. Take the gaze over the right shoulder. Keeping that breath smooth and steady, breathing into all the sensations. As always, the breath can increase any sensations within the pose, or help us soften within the movements. Coming back to center, releasing those arms. Let's take some neck rolls here. So taking the gaze over towards the right hand side, tucking the chin under, letting it roll over to the left. and taking these neck rolls side to side, perhaps doing a figure of 8, whatever feels good for you. And then dropping the left hand towards the left sit bone, taking that right hand up and over the head. We're going to bring that right ear towards the right shoulder, using the hand as a little bit of assist. We can walk those opposite fingertips out towards the side. Everything is mindful, everything is gentle. And we tune into the body and we take what we need and we leave what we don't need. Channeling that intuition, that inner perception and wisdom of the eagle. Taking it over to the other side now, so swapping over to the opposite side, letting that left hand drop over to the opposite ear, drawing the left ear to left shoulder. Let the opposite shoulder stay soft, relaxing it down. And then releasing here, taking the fingertips to the back of the head, just tucking the chin towards the chest, letting the hands add a little bit of an assist to gravity as we take the stretch down the back of the neck. Nice, and release. Taking the hands to the knees now, coming into our cat-cow. So as we exhale, rounding through the spine, C-shaping our spine, finding that cat back. As we inhale, our chest comes forward. We're taking a little back bend here. Our seated cow pose, moving with your breath. Feeling the opening in the front body, the opening in the back body. And then bringing the hands back to the knees. We're going to take our torso in circles here, moving through a beautiful articulation of the spine. So a good way to think of this is your torso is a spatula and we are scooping up all the Nutella in the jar, going to every corner and going the opposite direction as well. Coming back to neutral, removing any blocks or props, or perhaps staying on them, yogi's choice. Taking the soles of the feet to the floor, knees up to the ceiling. Hands can come down by the sit bones. We're just going to take some windshield wipers side to side. Continuing with this nice and gently at your own pace. Or perhaps coming into our dynamic windshield wipers. So as we come over towards the left hand side, let that knee and shin anchor down towards the floor. We're coming up into a kneeling position, coming up onto that knee. With control, using that core, letting the sit bones land, coming back up onto the other side. Moving at your own pace. And then letting the knees come to neutral. Bringing that left knee in towards the inner thigh. Right leg comes out in front of us. Toes are flexed. A half butterfly or hand to toe pose. So smooth inhale finds the lift. As we exhale, we're taking that forward fold over that front leg. Leading with the chest, hinging with the hips, and trying to avoid any rounding through the spine. You can, of course, use a strap here or keep the block underneath the sit bones. Then we're going to cross that left leg over the top of the right, coming into a figure 4. This might be enough, or you might want to pick up that right leg, holding underneath the right thigh. Staying here or taking a flex and an extension through that right leg, warming up through the back of the hamstring. Moving gently with your own breath. And releasing, bringing the soles of the feet down towards the floor. Take some windshield wipers side to side. Opposite side, left leg extends, right leg comes in, sole of the foot to the inner thigh. Lifting up, hinging at the hips as we fold over that forward leg, leading with the chest. Keep those feet flexed. And then bringing the right leg over the left thigh. perhaps staying here in our figure 4, perhaps coming to bend through that left leg. Maybe the leg comes off the floor as we extend and flex through the legs, stretching down the back of the calf and the hamstring. Beginning to activate those hip flexors as well here. Beautiful. Let's release, come on out and find your tabletop position. Just taking a round of cat-cow here, neutralizing that spine. Finding your 4-point kneeling. Shoulders are stacked under wrists, knees are stacked under hips, and we're taking those hip cranks, so drawing circles with our knees. Like our elbows, these can be big circles, little circles, does not matter. And then taking that right leg to extend to the back of the mat, tucking the toes down, we're going to push out through the back of the heel, taking some pulses, working into the muscles in the back of the leg. As you exhale, draw that right knee towards the nose, rounding out through the upper back. Inhaling, extending through the right leg. Taking a micro bend into the elbows here or coming down to chaturanga arms. Strong push back up, sending that right leg out towards the side. As we inhale, coming up to find our half gate pose. Arms lift up towards the ceiling. As we exhale, cactus arms, find that opening through the chest. Right arm drops down, extending down the extended leg. Left arm reaches up and over, finding that beautiful side stretch. As we exhale, let the hands land down to the floor, bringing that right leg back in to find our tabletop position. Left leg extends out, opposite side, taking those pulses, pushing into the back of the heel. The back of the knee is as though it's pushing up towards the ceiling, and we're letting the weight, we're letting our wrists take some of the weight here, keeping the gaze down towards the floor so that we're not crunching that neck. Bringing that left knee to nose, rounding out through that spine, pushing out through the hands so we're finding that protraction in the shoulders. And on your next inhale, taking that left leg out towards the side. Level with the hip. Inhaling here, finding our gate pose. Reaching up, finding the length in the spine as we inhale. As we exhale, find those cactus arms. Feeling the elbows drawing down, the chest opening up, and the shoulder blades drawing towards each other. Left hand comes down towards the extended leg as we reach up and over with the right, finding all that space available in the side body, in the chest space, stretching through all those intercostal muscles. Let the hands anchor down, find your tabletop position. And then we're going to tuck the toes and come into our kneeling position here. So you can either take your knees, your toes tucked or untucked, or sit on a block, adding a little bit of support. As we take our toe stretch, we're also stretching out through that posterior fascia plane. So on your toe stand, let's inhale, reaching those arms up, soften the shoulders down, taking a little seated twist here. So right arm comes to the outside of the left thigh, that left arm crosses over the back, finding the right hip crease. Breathing here. As we exhale, windmill that back arm around, crossing over the opposite arm, find the opposite thigh and round out through that spine. Nice. As we inhale, draw those arms up, find your eagle arms. Whatever variation this is, whether we're energetically drawing the forearms to each other, in the full eagle bind, palms connecting, or whether our forearms are just making contact. Drawing those elbows up, let's take those circles with the eagle arms. So drawing circles with our eagle arms, lifting up, taking a big circle here, bowing forward, and then taking that circle in the opposite direction. Feeling all the movement, all the stretch in the back of the upper body. And then as we come back up to top, let's inhale, finding your cactus arms opening up through the front chest space. Inhaling back up to top, Opposite side, as we exhale, left hand comes towards the outside of the right thigh. That right arm can extend across the back, maybe finding the opposite hip crease. And then windmilling that back arm up and over, finding the opposite knee, rounding out through that spine. And as we inhale, taking your eagle arms, lifting those elbows up to shoulder height, maybe connecting those palms. Taking your circles again, let's sweep those arms around, drawing a big circle, one way and then the other. Coming back up to top, inhaling cactus arms, opening up through the chest as we exhale, coming down to our 4-point kneeling. Untuck those toes, maybe counter stretch them, sending the knees nice and wide, coming into your balasana, child's pose. Taking the arms out in front of you, extending those arms forward. And if it feels good for you, maybe walking the hands over to the right hand side, taking a little side stretch in our balasana. So you can walk the hands over to the right, stack the hands, take the gaze under the arm, and then gently walk the hands through center over to the other side. Keeping that breath smooth and steady, bringing the hands back to center. Coming back up into your tabletop position, keeping the hips stacked over the knees. We're going to walk those hands forwards, coming into a puppy pose. It's only going as far as feels good for you, so we haven't worked too much into the back, so a nice gentle puppy pose as we take our chin and chest towards the floor. Letting that heart space melt down, opening up through the shoulders. Again, using our breath to release, keeping it smooth and steady. On your next exhale, walking those hands back up, restacking. We'll tuck those toes, lift those hips, engage that core, finding our bear pose. So we are in our tabletop with hovered knees here. Our core is strong, engaging our Uddiyana Bandha, pushing the mat away with our hands so we get that protraction through the shoulders. Lovely. And either staying here for a few more breaths or taking those knees side to side. And on your next exhale, coming into your Adho Mukha Svanasana, downward facing dog, pedaling out through those legs, lifting up those hips and finding the length in that spine. As we inhale, ripple yourself forward, find that plank position. Exhale, micro bend or take your chaturanga. Lowering yourself down, let's come to our Sphinx pose. Stacking the elbows underneath the shoulders, the forearms come forward into a figure 11 shape. We're active through the back legs, glutes are engaged. As we're drawing the elbows in towards the floor, our chest is drawing forwards, our heart is shining. Lovely, and release, taking the fingertips adjacent to the shoulders, adjacent to the chest, walking them off the mat. Let's take a few dynamic cobra here. So as we inhale, rippling that chest up, and exhale, softening back down. You can move your hands around accordingly with wide cobra. See where feels good for you. Move at your own pace. And it might feel good here to take a gaze towards the back foot, taking our side to side cobra. And then allowing yourself to come back to neutral, restacking those hands underneath the shoulders, and then pushing yourself up, finding your downward facing dog. Maybe pedaling out the legs, really finding that length into the back. On your next inhale, stepping that right foot to the top of the mat, in between the gates of the arms. Anchor down through that left hand and spiral that chest open as we lift that right arm up towards the sky. Allowing that chest to spiral open towards the front of your mat. Grow your wingspans between your arms. And on your next exhale, plant the left hand back down, stepping the right foot to the back of the mat, taking it over to the other side. Left foot comes to the top, anchor down through the right hand. As we reach that left hand up towards the ceiling, thinking about growing that wingspan, finding as much space across the back body as we possibly can. And exhale, release, bringing both hands to the mat, coming back to your plank position. Inhale, shift forward as we exhale, chaturanga. Inhaling, taking your chosen back bend. And as you exhale, finding your downward facing dog. Finding that connection with the breath. As you inhale, step, jump or float to the top of your mat. Anchor down through the feet, bend through the knees and peel up through that spine, arriving in your extended mountain. Arms reaching up, palms facing each other. As you exhale, bring the hands to heart center. We're going to come straight into our Garundasana chair pose. So bringing those hands down as you sink those hips back and down. Tucking that tailbone under, find the nice length into the spine. As we exhale, twisting over your right, towards your right. So taking the left elbow towards the right knee. It does not matter if they don't meet. Twisted chair pose. And maybe growing that wingspan as we reach the arms out in opposite directions, keeping the chest nice and open. Right arm is reaching up to the ceiling, left arm is reaching down. On your next inhale, we're going to windmill that top arm around as though we're taking backstroke, finding a nice big circle. And then coming back up to its start position, taking both hands down towards the mat. Exhale, finding your deep forward fold. Hips come up to the ceiling. You can take ragdoll here, perhaps pedal out through the legs, or perhaps take a little counter twist. So we're going to take a little bend into the left knee. Right hand comes to the block or to the mat. And just lifting up through that left arm, opening up the chest to the opposite side. Exhale, release. As we inhale, bend through the knees, sweep those arms up. We're coming straight back up into Garundasana, chair pose. Tuck that tailbone under, spine nice and long. Hands to heart center as we twist over towards the left side. Right elbow comes towards the right knee, checking that those knees don't shift. They're staying nice and level. Chest is open to the left. Maybe grow your wingspan here. Left arm is reaching up to the ceiling. And on your next exhale, take your backstroke with the top arm, windmilling it around in a big circle. Feel that beautiful big stretch. Let it arrive back to its start position. Exhale, hands come back down towards the mat. And we'll take that opposite twist in to the opposite side. So that left hand comes down in between the feet. Bending through the leg as we extend that right arm up towards the ceiling. Chest is turning towards the front of your mat. And then hands come down to the floor, stepping back, finding your downward facing dog, taking that beautiful stretch. And then come on down, knees nice and wide, find your child's pose here. So either taking the arms nice and wide, letting that chest have plenty of space to soften down to the earth, or maybe take a bend into the elbows, and bringing a prayer to the back of your neck. So reverse prayer hands to the back of your neck, and it just helps soften into the shoulders. It's a really nice variation for child's pose. If it's not comfortable for you, you don't have to do it. Find what works for you. On your next exhale, we're going to push up back to our downward facing dog. Step, jump or float those feet to the top of the mat. And as we inhale, bending through those knees, we're going to come straight back up into our chair pose. We've been here before, we know what to do. Tuck that tailbone, reach those arms up, sink those hips down. Hands can come to heart center, that's not a problem. So in our chair pose, we're going to take the weight into our heels. When we're sinking down into Utkatasana, the toes are able to lift up off the floor. So we're going to shift the weight now, coming onto the toes and then shifting back into our chair pose. So from our chair pose, we're going to come up onto our tiptoes as we sweep the arms behind us. And then as we inhale, coming back into our chair pose as we sweep those arms up. So we're shifting that weight. The legs are engaged. Inhale, sweeping the arms up. Toes are lifting. As we exhale, hands come behind us. We're on our toes, our heels are lifting. One more of those, sweeping the arms up. Chair pose, toes are lifting. Exhale, sweeping behind us. We're on our toes, heels are lifting. Let those feet land back down to the floor. Hands come down to the floor to a block. Find your deep forward fold, Uttasana. Let the chest come towards the thighs. Let the head hang. And with each exhale, we're softening back down. Beautiful, bending through the knees, peeling up through that spine. We're going to come into our chair pose once again, hands coming to heart center. Those legs are probably feeling it by now, but you've got this. Hands to heart center as you lift the chest up, keeping the chest nice and open. So we're going to take side steps here. So stepping that left leg to the side, almost like a crab walk, right leg follows it, coming back to center, taking a mini step over to the right hand side, keeping the integrity of that chair pose. The legs are feeling it. Beautiful. And as you exhale, coming back to center, hands come down towards the floor. Find your deep forward fold once again, reaching those hips up towards the ceiling. Now walking those hands forward or those feet backwards, we're going to come into our downward facing dog. Those hips reaching up towards the ceiling. As we inhale, ripple that weight forward, come to find your plank position. We're going to bring that right knee towards the left elbow. Taking that 3 times. With each exhale, that right knee comes to that left elbow. And once more, that right knee comes to that left elbow. This time we're taking that same leg and we're going to wrap it around that left leg. So the left leg becomes the standing leg. As we find
exhale, releasing back down.
Perhaps finding the lift.
As you inhale,
as you
reach those arms up, take your extended mountain. Exhale, taking those cactus arms.
The hold of the knee or perhaps the foot.
And then bringing hands to heart center, tucking that chin, taking a soft bend through the knees, and we're going to peel down through that spine, vertebrae by vertebrae. Feeling every articulation. And then walking those hands forward, finding our downward facing dog. Over to the opposite side, left knee comes to right elbow. Inhaling, left knee to right elbow. Taking that 3 times. As we come back into our plank pose, we're crossing over in the opposite direction. So the left leg is wrapping around the right. Perhaps the toes are tapping onto the floor. Perhaps we're finding our full eagle bind. As we walk those hands towards the feet, finding our foundation, and then finding our lift, rooting to rise. Perhaps the hands are at heart center. Perhaps we are finding the eagle bind in the arms. Lifting those elbows up as the tailbone sinks down. Breathing smoothly here, using the breath as an anchor. And as we release those legs, that left leg comes straight up into our 90-degree angle. Right arm meets the knee. As we twist open towards the back, gazing towards that back left arm. Exhale, release, reaching those arms up. Exhale, hands to heart center. Great job. Coming to the top of your mat here. Slowly peeling down through the spine. Landing on your sit bones, let's bring it back down to the mat. Coming all the way down to lie on your back, knees pointing up towards the ceiling. We're going to hug that right knee in towards the chest, coming into our half Apanasana. You can keep the left leg bent, or perhaps extend it out depending on how this feels for you. Perhaps rolling through that ankle, maybe taking some circles, stirring that knee. And then bending through that left leg, taking our figure 4 position, so right leg comes over the left thigh. This might be enough, or maybe taking hold of the back of the left leg. Drawing the knees towards the chest. Reclined pigeon, figure 4 here. Keeping that spine anchored down into the mat. Left foot, sole of the foot comes down towards the floor as we take our right leg up to the ceiling, taking hold of the back of the thigh or maybe the toes, drawing the knee to the armpit as we come into half happy baby. And releasing, extending through the right leg, coming over to the other side, right leg extends, drawing that left knee in towards the chest. Maybe rolling through that ankle, and then drawing that right leg in, crossing the left leg over the right thigh, coming into our figure 4 position. Now you can either continue to draw those knees towards the chest, maybe curling up into a ball, bringing the head towards the shin. Do what feels good for you. Releasing our figure 4, taking the right leg to the mat. The left leg extends up towards the ceiling as we draw that left knee towards the left armpit. Half happy baby. Keeping the lower back pressed into the mat. And then perhaps taking your full happy baby, both legs up to the ceiling, drawing those knees down, imprinting that entire spine onto the mat, and then releasing, taking some windshield wipers side to side. Perhaps the gaze comes to the looking in the opposite direction of the knees, and then let the knees land on the right hand side, taking the gaze over to the left. The knees can land on a block, on a prop. You can rearrange your legs as to how feels good for you. And if you want a little bit extra, you can hook that right leg onto the left knee, just adding a little bit of an assist, a little bit extra here. On your next exhale, releasing, coming to take a few windshield wipers just to reset that spine. And then let the knees land over to the left-hand side. Gaze comes to the right, and maybe take that hook option. A left foot hooks onto that right knee. Let yourself soften, keep those shoulders away from the ears. Beginning to round this practice down, releasing those legs, hugging the knees into the chest, and just taking a moment to do any other movements that you feel you want right now. Perhaps popping on any layers before we come down to our final Shavasana. Option to take this sat up against the wall, perhaps legs up the wall, or leaning back into the back of the chair. Allowing your whole self to come to stillness. Allowing yourself to absorb the practice we've just done. And as the mind wanders, bringing yourself back to the breath. invite you to stay here for as long as you want or you need. Or maybe coming back up gently to a seated position. Drawing the hands to heart center, taking a moment to thank yourself for your practice. May you soar on eagle wings high above the madness of the world. Eagles don't flock, you'll find them one at a time. Choose what serves you best. May you connect to your inner wisdom, embody the strong determination and strength of the eagle, and rise above what no longer serves you. Namaste.